Greetings. This is Skylar Saunders seeing what's current. First and foremost, I'd like to do an advertisement for Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube.com. This is a channel that has jazz, quiet storm, R&B, and soul music that's at its highest levels. The man behind it is named Spirit McCroy, and he is definitely one of the greatest YouTubers out right now. So check out his site, Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube. Let that be known. Okay. I want to get into this topic right now. MC Sha-Rock is wants major corporations to go back and say that we're going to give you money. That's basically what she wants. She wants the money to quote unquote trickle down to the pioneers and the architects. She herself is a pioneer and an architect. She was part of the Funky 4+1. She was the lead female MC, and arguably, there's still some contention, but arguably the first commercially successful female MC in history. There's contention there. Some people are saying, "Oh no, it's other people. It's other people had in." You got to factor in the Fatback Band. You got to factor in all these other people. So what? I'm not taking that to heart so much. That's something that's totally different. They weren't commercially successful, so I will give MC Sha-Rock her props. But as you see in the title, I say that she is wrong, because what did the corporations take? Most of them. What did they take from the artists? Weren't there contracts? Weren't there ways for different attorneys and accountants to information for them to be, more financially sound? I don't think it's not the corporation's fault. You can't blame the corporations. And they say, greedy capitalists, when greed is a virtue and capitalism is definitely a virtue. It's a virtuous system. It's the moral system of justice. It's about property rights, and especially individual rights, and the government protecting those rights. That's what it is. Yes, Richard James. Welcome. And I'm going to continue to say it, because I still don't believe you. I still think you're holding back. Okay. The goal is $80. Today's goal, $80. Okay. That's today's goal. Hold on. I'll clean that up. I'm gonna get to her in a moment. I just have to fix this a little bit. I'll be right back to her. Be right back on her. Pause. I mean, hetero pause. $80. $80. You don't have to give all that. You can give more than that. You can give less than that. But my goal is $80. That's what I'm setting for myself. I believe I'm worthy of it. I believe I've earned it. I've done research. I've gone and done everything I possibly can to make sure this show is of caliber, of high-tier YouTube content. Okay. MC Sha-Rock. You're wrong, girl. Sorry, lady. You're wrong. You can't have these major corporations, these companies that bring in more people that are not equipped, mentally or financially or thought-wise, to continue on with the idea of hip-hop being a business. It's a business. And it's nobody's business, just like Mr. Troy Star Attorney said, it's nobody's business to teach you the business of business. It's nobody's business. Now, you can get pointers, you can get different ideas from other people, you can get thoughts and claims from other folks, but you have to sit down and understand the reality of what you're signing. Are you signing away all your masters? Are you signing away your publishing? Are you signing away your residuals? What is happening? What is going on? What is it that is occurring in the lives of these artists? And then want to get bitter and sad and say, Oh, the label took all my money. Oh, they had me hemmed up. Oh no, huh? She also wants, communities, quote unquote. There's no such thing as a black community or neighborhoods, and that's about it. Black neighborhoods. She also says that they should be giving back to communities as well. And what does that mean? For what? What if they produced to receive or trade, not get back? Because these companies didn't take anything from these artists. It took nothing, or very few. I'm not going to say every company was absolutely virtuous and on board or above board. But what I'm saying is, you don't say that somebody should give you back something. What did they take? What did they take in relationship to your being, to yourself? What was it? What started it? Sha-Rock. We're going back to the early 80s with you. We're going back to the late 70s, early 80s. And it just seems like you're one of those architects and pioneers. I have to give you respect on that, but you seem very embittered by the fact that you're not in matches and Benzes giving in to your friends because it feels stupendous. I don't want to say anything else because I'll probably get a copyright strike. But you may not be living as big as Jigga Man or people like Nicki Minaj or even Lil Kim. You're not living that lifestyle. Who's the has-been, Richard James? I'm asking you, who's the has-been? But anyway, it's very and it's very vital, very important to discover what is so irrational about MC Sha-Rock's claims. You meant she's a has-been? You put he's a has-been. Sha-Rock? You meant to say she's a has-been. I wouldn't even put that on her. I'll say she's a pioneer and an architect. She started one of the most historical bands in history, Funky 4+1. She was the female act, and nobody can take that away from her. See, you talking about giving back? Nothing can be taken away from you. On that regard, you made history. And no Missy Elliott. And Missy Elliott's no Missy Elliott. What are you talking about? Missy Elliott is one of the worst rappers of all time. She had just nonsense rhymes. You give me her substance. Give me one of her songs of substance. You said, "Wow, that's pretty, phenomenal." That's it made me think. That made me move. I can see you make me move. I'm sure Missy Elliott made you move. She probably had, but that's because of Timbaland's beats. She was backed by one of the best producers of all time. So I want to see what her lyrics did to you. Exactly, Freak On. That's another example. What was she saying other than some over sexualized tune that had nonsense words and no substance and no real bars to it. But we're digressing. I want to get on MC Sha-Rock. MC Sha-Rock is completely out of touch. She's begging. She's got her cup out. She's selling pencils. She's got pencils in one hand and a tin cup in the other. She's jangling it. She got a few pennies in there. She's saying that the companies, what companies, by the way? She just says companies. She didn't say, Warner, or she didn't say Universal. She didn't say Sony. She didn't say any, major corporations. She just says companies. Companies should give back. Give back for what? That's what I'm saying. Give back to and for what? What is the main draw of being a artist other than the possibility of making millions, if not billions of dollars one day? How do you make millions and billions of dollars? You have to sell records. If you don't sell records, you're not going to get millions and billions of dollars. You're going to be, kicked to the curb. There's no rap pension yet. I don't think there ever will be. But there's no, insurance on hip hop music. None of that. So to give back when you didn't take anything in the first place. That's the thing. These companies, quote unquote, didn't take anything in the first place. All they did was provide you a chance to sign up for you to make and create music and go on from there. Richard James says, me and Timberland have been hit since 20 years ago. Oh, that's not a hot bar. That's nothing. That doesn't even mean it. They've been hot since 20 years ago. So what's the dealio? What's the dealio? Like after that, even after that line, she says, what's the dealio? Like there's no substance. There's no, oh, that's a hot line. That was a hard bar. Oh, that was dope. I never got that from Missy. Now she has excellent videos. She has great videos. But videos aren't music really. They're commercials. They're not art. They're commerce. They're pushing whatever the song is. They can be beautiful, they can be wonderful, they can be, elaborate, or it's very simple, but in all reality, they're commercials. And commercials are not art. Now, back to MC Sha-Rock. MC Sha-Rock, I'm sure, influenced Missy Elliott and so many others. Eve, MC Light, and just a whole lot of other Gangsta Boo, probably the late great Gangsta Boo. So I'm sure she had an impact on all these female MCs. Queen Latifah, my favorite MC, my favorite female MC. I divide the males against the females. I think of them as like boxers. In that sense, I mean, I know there was the whole Roxanne, and she was going against the dudes, but I'm saying that they should be divided like boxers. Anyway, I digress again. With the power and the might of these companies, I don't know what companies she doesn't specify. She said, but just these companies, she should allow the money to trickle down to communities. Money doesn't trickle in this regard. Money floods. Money floods down from major corporations into so-called communities or neighborhoods. It allows young people to grasp the ideas of entrepreneurship and understanding of contracts and understanding of knowing how to use their residuals, their publishing, their masters to better themselves financially. You have to put in the work. You have to make sure your product is good enough. You make sure you're consistent enough to be worthy of those millions and possibly billions of dollars. Richard James says, if Sha-Rock wants to make a comeback, all she has to do is work with Cardi B or Karoy G, and she'll be living in Beverly Hills again. That was funny. That was cute. That was cute. But seriously, Sha-Rock just has to recognize. I mean, that could be serious too. Maybe she does have to do a song with Cardi B. Cardi B is the first person in all of history, in all of recording history, to have every song on her album from 2018 to be classified platinum or better with at least one diamond. You can hate on her all you want. She has flow. I think she has flow, but she kind of has that Missy Elliott kind of tinge to me. That she's not saying much, but she does have songs that do have substance to it. But she definitely should be, going down the line. But that's another example of what Sha-Rock has done. If there was no Sha-Rock, there probably wouldn't be a Cardi B. Sha-Rock is the one that outlined and sketched the framework of hip-hop. She was one of the first ones to ever do it. And that's what's so amazing. Ice Spice is not on Cardi B's level yet because she hasn't dropped an album. When Ice Spice drops an album, I'm responding to Richard James, she will have created something special. She would have created something, that can match up to all her singles. because she's hot and popping right now. She's definitely popping right now. She's Ice Spices all over the place in a good way. But I'm going to pause for another ad. If you want to listen to great quiet storm, soul, smooth jazz, R&B, check out Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube.com. This channel is so, prescient and important because it just relaxes you, and you're allowed to engage in it. It brings you all those hit records from the different eras, from the 70s on up till today. If there's still R&B and jazz and hip hop, well, not really hip hop, but Quiet Storm, but just excellent music, great time. Just sit back, relax. Have something to smoke, something to drink. Have a lady with you, or have your guy with you, or have somebody else with you. I don't know, but that's what Spirit Smooth Tunes provides you. So make sure you hit up that channel and subscribe. All right. Sha-Rock. Sha-Rock has been, for decades, going on, over 40 years, at least 4 decades, been at the head of the class when it comes to female MCs. She was if there was no MC Sha-Rock, there'd be no Lauryn Hill. There'll be no Foxy Brown. There'll be no, like I said, Nicki Minaj and Eve. She set the standard. She put down the roadmap. She put down the engineering and the different aspects of what it takes to be a female MC in this game, populated mostly by males. So she stands out. I respect her. I'm saying she's wrong. I'm respectfully saying that she's wrong. She's mistaken. She's mistaken in her way of saying that companies should give back. What is it that they should be giving back, and for what reason? That's what I want to know. Why? What is the reason why they should give back? She had a long post, saying how, they should be going back to communities and, telling young people, to do different things in the arts. But the truth is, yes, I said that. No, Lil' Kim. I said that earlier. But the truth is, there is no dividing line, really, between people that understand that this is a business. It's art, but it's act. It's art, commerce, and time. That's all we're living in. We live in art, commerce, and time when we have to deal with people that are coming up into the game. It takes art to have the product. You have to have a good product. You have to have something to sell. You got to be on point in some way. Commerce comes when you sell your art and it becomes valuable in the marketplace. And time is for you to understand that over the years, you should be gradually building up a portfolio of various investments and various times of noting what it means to be someone of substance. That's what it means with time. And sadly, Sha-Rock has not done that. She's failed in that regard. She has failed to see that companies don't own people like slaves. Like I said, it's contractual obligations. Contractual. It's all in the contracts. Reading the fine print. Reading everything that goes into it to ensure that you get every piece of the dollars that you do for your art. I have to disagree with you, Richard James. Richard James says she's on the Kanye syndrome. Kanye is totally different. Kanye's on another different wavelength. He can't even have a conversation. Yeah, he's done in the media. I can't see him ever coming back to the stature where he was 2004, 2005, 2006, even 7. When 2000 after 2007 hit, it was like ups and downs all the way, and it mainly went down for him to be a media personality. But Sha-Rock just needs to go back and clarify her statements. Needs to go back and check her premises, or otherwise understand, what she really means by her words, and what she really understands in regards to truth and reality. That's what check your premises means. Check the basic ideas of what you're trying to say or do, and the principles that are therein. But Sha-Rock, yeah, she just needs to get her life together. She definitely needs to get her mind right. Needs to be in control with the daily output of what it means to be a person of respect and person of truth. Because it's a sad song. They've been singing it ever since. There's people that have tax debts, foreclosures on their houses. They're taking their cars away. Look what happened to Hammer. Same thing happened to Hammer. He blew all the money. He was $30 million. And that was like $60 or $90 million back in 1990s. That was almost $100 million. But 30 million, just blew up, just vanished in the thin air. Because he did not have the draw. He did not have the idealism. He's a smart guy, a very smart man. Hammer. He's still a factor. He may not be relevant, but he's still a factor in the game. He'll do a commercial here and there. I'm sure he still represents for Oakland, the Bay. I think he had a church at one time, or still has a church. So he's still trying to get it in somewhere, somehow. He's a smart man. He knows what he's doing within the game. Yeah, so if there's any, confusion over whether, Sha-Rock should be saying these things, it should just be cleared up and said, read the contract. Read the contract all the way, thoroughly. Don't just, glance over, how much am I getting paid and all that. Look at the taxes, look at the royalties, look at the mechanical royalties, the residuals, everything that goes into a contract, and ensure that you are not being flipped over. And you know what? That's on you. That's not the company's fault. That's on you. That's for you to decide. That's for you to discern. You have to have discernment in every single facet of life to determine and to see what's really behind, the things that are just on the facade, on the basics, on the face value. You have to look beyond that. You have to look beyond all of those different keys, impartiality. So, and by the way, I'm squinting now, middle of the day before my happy pills, because these lights are really bright. If you have noticed, I'm squinting. I try to bring my eyes bright, but I'm squinting because these lights are really bright. They have to have light, obviously, so I can have a show, but they're making me squint. So Sha-Rock, she just needs to take into account the fact that, all the different ways that she didn't become the superstar, or the one that people that will point to and say, yeah, she's my favorite MC of all time, or she's the greatest MC ever to do it, female MC ever to do it, or she put out a lot of great albums. And that's the thing, you got to put out a lot of great albums and singles, and get immersed in the culture, if you want to call it that. It's a genre of hip-hop, but if you want to call it a culture, you have to be entwined in it. You have to be within the game. You have to have some skin in the game. You have to be involved. You have to be engaged. That's so important here. That's what she's missing. That's the point she's missing to state it's not about the companies, quote unquote, whoever these companies are. Like I said Sony, Warner, Universal, I don't know, Motown, Atlantic, I don't. Who is it? Def Jam. All these different labels and companies. She wants the money to trickle down. No, the money will flood down when people start to realize that capitalism is the only moral, social system in history. People will understand better by and by the fact that she is on another level. She is a great artist, but a great artist doesn't mean that you have a lot of money. A great artist should mean that you do have a lot of money, but it doesn't guarantee it. It doesn't say that you're definitely going to be paid. All right. I got people coming in and out of the chat. Make sure you put on a like button or at least say, hey, what's up? You're goofy. I don't like you. I hate you. This is a terrible show. Something like that. I know it's not. I know it's one of the greatest shows on YouTube. May not be the greatest show, but one of the greatest shows. I think it's the greatest show, but in reality, I have to say it's one of the greatest shows. But for real, to myself, in my mind, I have to say it's the greatest. I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't do this in my life. It's just like when, the late, great Kobe played Jordan. Jordan was better than Kobe, but Kobe had it in his mind that he was better than Jordan every time they played against each other. Same thing with Iverson. Allen Iverson had to think, oh, wait a minute, I'm better than Jordan. I'm going to cross him over and shoot this shot. It's going to go win. Bam. I'm better than you, at least on that level. Bam. That's what you have to have. That's the mindset you have to have. So somebody in the chat room, other than Richard James, put up a number 1, sign something. Well, I appreciate that, Richard James. And I would appreciate it more if you told other people that this was the greatest show on YouTube. If you think it's the greatest show on YouTube, let other people know that. Let at least 10 people know and leave the 11th person hanging. That's my motto. 10 people got to have the knowledge of the show, and then leave the 11th person without a clue. So I'm looking at my Cash App right now. I'm seeing what I have from yesterday, not today. Well, you're the one up, Richard James. I appreciate that. There were people that came in and came out. See, there's one person else. It just registered. It says 2 viewers, so I don't know who it is. Yeah, you did tell Billy and Sebastian, but I need Billy and Sebastian to tell another Billy and Sebastian to tell another Billy and Sebastian. That's how we grow this network. That's how I get more money. That's all I'm in this for. Well, one of the reasons why I'm in it. I like the passion. I like the reason I can get my thoughts out and somebody can hear me and understand what I'm saying, or at least nod your head like you agree. Who's Melissa and Rob, may I ask? Are these your family members? Richard James? So while he's deliberating on that, Sha-Rock, lady, just breathe. Just breathe. You wrote a long Instagram post. It was going meandering in all different ways. You want companies to pay up. It's not looking pretty. It doesn't bode well for you to do that. It doesn't give you extra points to say, what everybody always says anyway. Oh, that we got to give back. Oh, I love giving back. I give back. Oh, that's the greatest part of this is the giving back to a good cause. You know what a good cause is? My bank account, my wallet. That's a good cause. That's what happens when a Cash App goes through. It goes through, and I say, cash out right now, cash out standard, and it goes to my bank account. The whole thing is there. That's a good cause. That's a very good cause. And everybody wants to say cute stuff and going back and forth. Oh, what's for the needy and the poor and the people that need it the most? Well, that's cute because they're being selfish themselves because they're thinking about themselves, aren't they? Well, how are they not selfish and vicious if you're selfless and virtuous? I ask you. So that's what I have to say about Sha-Rock. And hopefully she gets herself together. Now, my favorite time of the post. Ruler of the kingdom of the air. Nobody else is talking about it. I'm talking about it. There were old co-workers. We were all retired now. Okay, good to go. Let them know. Please let them know. Because it says 0 right now. I know you're number 1. You're 1. Even though it's not showing 1, I know you're 1, Richard James. It's YouTube's glitch. YouTube's glitch is showing that it's 0 viewers. You're 1 viewer I know I'm talking to right now. But ruler of the kingdom of the air. Woo! Getting views. The audio's getting views. Exactly. Thank you. It's getting views on YouTube. I got the credit card logo on the show. It's not the kid with the horn. The audio has the kid with the horns, but I've got on other places the card, and especially this broadcast, the credit card with my name on it, the good through infinity, and the Della credit. And you'll learn what Della credit is for coming up in soon to be episodes. Or if you read the story, which is on vocal.media, Skylar Saunders, search Skylar Saunders on vocal.media, and you'll see that. Yeah, well, you have to go back and read the story. Richard James. You'll say, oh, okay. You probably read the story earlier because I did admittedly add it a little late. I didn't have it as the first time that I wrote it. I just penciled it in a little later than it was. You probably read the original story, but if you read it again, you'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Because Mr. Troy Star Terrain didn't want me to have the kid with the horns on his head. So I said, you know what? Let me try to do this card. I asked the designer, Kurt DZ, a great designer. Kurt, I think his designs by DZ@gmail.com. Let me put that in there. Designs by DZ. Yeah, the Devil Child I like it too, but Mr. Train has his reasons, obviously. He doesn't want to have any lawsuits. He doesn't want to have any kind of association with minors in that regard. He doesn't want to have something like that. And I respect that about him. You have to respect his wishes. He put me on platform. He put me on this platform. Like I've said before, if it weren't for Troy Star Terrain, I would not be on this YouTube channel. He gave me the impetus. I didn't want to do this. I knew I had to do this. If you understand what I'm saying. He gave me the opportunity to say, you're going to be a great person if you just do what you got to do. He said, I never went to broadcasting school. He just jumped on, he gangstered his way onto the, community access TV, MTV, Hot 97, Power 105, Pulse 87, 100.3 to beat, hoodpromo.com, and youtube.com. He just continued with his quality efforts. I respect that about the man. Now, back to quality efforts. Got to get to ruler of the kingdom of the air. I said many things about this story, but I want you to really, dig in deep to the ideals of the creation of this story. I had this creation in my mind for decades. I'm 35. I'm an old man. I'm old. I know that. But this has been in my mind since I was about 14 or 15 years old. 20 years ago, 21 years ago. That's the amazing part about all this. Is that it's finally coming to fruition. It's coming to facts, coming to truth. And I don't know when the jurors or the judges, take into account what the story is. I've changed it. I've added pictures. I've updated the narrative. I don't know when they're going to tell me. I don't know when they're going to say. You have one number one slot. They may never say that. But I'm fighting for the fact that I want that to be said. That's what I'm fighting for. That's the driving impetus behind what I want to do. That's the driving force. I can't be mad at the companies. Who's the company? Vocal.media. Should that money, should they give back to me? Should that money trickle into my account? No. I haven't earned it. And they haven't taken away anything from me. I signed a contract. Make sure I read the whole entire thing. Whenever it's about money, that's the time I sign contracts. I make sure definitely that I know what the ins and outs are and what it entails. So I really, want that to be part. This is like an extension of the Sha-Rock conversation. Internet companies, there's probably thousands, maybe millions, maybe a billion. We don't know. Who knows? They don't advertise it as much. Who has ever heard of Vocal.media? Have you ever heard of Vocal.media, Richard James, before it came to your attention from me? Have you ever heard of it? Let me know. How many people are talking about Vocal.media? How many people were talking about Tryon.com? Exactly. Richard James says never. Whoever heard of Tryon.com? Helium.com? Before Lulu TV was a publishing company, they were a content creating company. You ever heard of Rever? Rever was an amazing site. It was based on your content assigned to a commercial, and then you would get a residual. You get a percentage of the commercial, how many views were counted. I made $10 in a night when I was like, right before I made my first check at Burlington Coat Factory, and I was ecstatic. I was like, I ain't never made this much money before in a day. This is crazy. And doing what I like to do? What? This is cool. And there's so many others. Hub pages, which I don't, subscribe to at all anymore. And they were on some other stuff. But nobody's heard these different pages. It's not on anybody's lips. It's not in the media, quote unquote. I don't want to be, like a pun, but it's not anywhere really prominent because they don't want you to be. They don't want you to be. They want you to be quiet. They want you to be silenced. All these are media platforms that make you talk. And Vocal.media may one day be, one of the large companies on the internet, a great presence. One of the things that people do talk about are media, or two of the things that people talk about are Medium.com and Substack. It's so classic. Medium and Substack. Medium and Substack. That's all you'll ever hear if you're talking, oh, are you on Medium? No. Are you on Substack? No. I might get on them again. I was on Medium for a little while, but this money was just trickling. That's when the money trickles. I was getting 2 cents here, 5 cents there. Vocal, within a few months, I made $1,250, $1,250. I came in third place and second place twice. I didn't have to pay a dime in taxes because it was all under $600. It was great. Splendid. I've yet to achieve those accolades again because it's getting wider. I have to admit it's getting to a wider audience and more writers. So when you have those challenges, it's a lot more challenging. See what I did there? Okay. I'm stupid like that, but it's a lot more of a hardship to try to get to the number one spot. You have so many things that have to factor into it. Quality of writing is number one. The number of people that have seen your posts, the the amount of media that you include in your post, all these things factor into amongst a host of others. So I'll say to you, it's like SoundCloud, but it's not. It's not like SoundCloud. It's not like SoundCloud, Richard James. And I'll tell you why. You know what SoundCloud is, and I know what SoundCloud is. You never heard of Vocal.media before me. Everybody's heard of SoundCloud because it's in the media. The major media outlets, from Pitchfork to Rolling Stone, talk about SoundCloud rap. I think the Source is still kicking around. Double XL. All of them are on a different track. They're on a different playing field. They're in a different way. So when you look at all the different pieces that go into being someone like, or something like Vocal.com, it's not Vocal.media, excuse me. It's not SoundCloud. SoundCloud is definitely, popular. Vocal.media is not. It is not popular. It is profitable. It's a wonderful investment. It's a great time. It's a wonderful thing to behold because they have zero commercials, zero advertisements, zero everywhere. No commercial. They have endorsements. They have different challenges where you endorse a product or something like that. But that's about as close as you get. And you ask, where do they get their money? They get their money from the stock exchange. They get every dollar from the stock exchange. So they're able to benefit not just from the writers, because they get a percentage of what you write and what your total viewers or readers, but they also make sure that there are no ads because it's based on stocks on the market exchange. That's a beautiful thing. Why can't schools be like that? Can't we get a corporation to do that? Give back, quote unquote. No, they should be able to make a huge profit by not having the students pay things. Or if they are, like Vocal.media does, they're on a freemium plan. It's either free. Hey, Richard James, you're asking a question. If you want to ask questions, you gotta put a dollar sign next to it. Remember that. And let Billy and Melissa and Rob and all them, let them all know that they got to put down dollar signs if they want to ask questions. They can stand in the chat all they want. You're free to do that, but I need the dollars. I need them to trickle in. No, they flood in. I had one flood a few weeks ago. That was a good flood. It was more money than I make. There's more money that somebody at Wendy's or something or McDonald's will make in a day, and I don't have to pay taxes. So it's a full amount. It's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing in America. Beautiful thing. So the site Vocal.media pays me because of my stories. That site does not do it doesn't pay really good in a sense as much as I would like, but it's based on my performance. It's based on me. It's not the site. It's not the company. It's my performance. It's whether I can adequately show that I can gross these dollars. If I can achieve these ends. If I can accomplish these goals of making money for both the company and myself, because that's the trade. It's about $9.99 a month, and I have more than that a month with my challenges and my daily writings. Richard James, I would say go for it. Do what you got to do. Hell, I'll put it in the link. Just go there, copy paste that, and get the writing. That's all I can say. And make sure you refer me. I'm doing referrals. It's called the Ambassadors Program. So definitely look into that. Make sure you understand what I'm saying with the Ambassadors Program. All right, so taking into account the facts that Vocal.media is still a home for great writing, great understanding of writing. They have a sense of creativity. There's a buzzing creativity that goes along with Vocal.media. And without them, I wouldn't have a story to tell in the way I wanted to tell it. There would be a completely unhinged version of Ruler of the Kingdom of the Air. Thankfully, gladly, hallelujah, Jesus. No, completely atheist. That was a joke. I would say that it is important to be a staunch, believer in what it means to be a someone of substance. You have to be a person. You have to be someone of substance, someone that has something to say. If you have substance and have something to say, then that's a good indicator. If you want to just make money, you're probably not going to make money. You have to have something to say. Richard James says, got it. I'll refer you. I want to maybe write a biography about my favorite late, great Paul Reubens, since I'm still upset about his death. Maybe it will be helpful for me. I don't know. You have a referral link. I'll answer this question. This is a free space and bingo. If you look up Vocal Ambassador Program, you'll learn more. You'll be able to get the link. I think. I think you'll get the link. No, but Vocal.media, it has catapulted me, to different heights that I didn't know. And ironically, it was an ad on Facebook that drew me into Vocal.media. I said, writing, online, money, makes sense to me. I've been writing for various sites or recording videos for sites. You ever heard of Blip.tv? Richard James, you ever heard of Blip? Not Blippy, but Blip. Blip.tv. That was a site that I made like $6 and you had to have a threshold of $20 or something like that. I wasn't even close to that. So I was like, I'm dumping this. And they went out of business anyway. It was sad. They had shows on there you could record, and make a whole episodes. And yeah, I thought you would say Blippy. It's Blip. It's just B-L-I-P, Blip. So that's what that is. That's the games we play against each other. We have to have that sense of righteousness and knowing that we're credible, that we're worthy of a certain spot. My spot on Vocal.media, I just got a tiny little, $5, but I earned that $5 for being the top story in July. You say, I'm mad they gave you $5 or something like that, but I'm not mad. It's what I earned. Once you earn something, that means it's yours. That means you put in the effort, you put in the work to achieve that. And if that has to be the amount, that's it. Look to get more money, look to get even more pay, but understand that you're supposed to get to a point where you know that you're beginning to make more money based on your efforts. Know that. Okay. Richard James saying he's only old enough to remember public access TV and PBS. Okay. Noted. Okay, so, Vocal.media is so cool because it's not corrupted yet. YouTube, in a lot of ways, has been corrupted politically. You can't say certain things in posts, and well, you can say them, but you get demonetized by us, possibly, or you can't say Trump's name and the title of a video. You won't get that much traction, or you'll get, like I said, you get demonetized. But YouTube is so huge, it's humongous. It's a giant, huge Goliath. I shouldn't say Goliath. That's kind of like negative connotation, but it's just a giant. It's a giant. For ill or good, it's a giant. And I say it's good because it's selfish. It's good because it rewards excellence. It rewards great work and what people want to watch. And that's something that is very, near and dear to my mind. I don't want to say heart, because heart is nothing but a glorious and glorified pump. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in your heart other than the pumping. That's it. It's in your head. It's in your mind. It's not. People like saying your hearts and minds. It's just your mind. It's not your heart. All right. Vocal.media. Vocal.media allowed me to really focus on my craft, on who I wanted to be and what I wanted to be, and who I wanted to know and why I wanted to know them. I made, followers. I made acquaintances on there. People that go back, people that follow me on Facebook. I appreciate all of that. That's one thing that I definitely appreciate. It's something that, continues on with my mind. Continues on with who I am. That's the reason why I write for Vocal. And I got something cooking up. Despite whatever happens, win, lose, or draw, it's not going to be a draw. It's going to be a winner and two people that are placed. I think I said this before, but the prize for first place is $1,000. It's not a lot of money. It's not a great amount of money. It's kind of a lot of money for a story that you're just starting, that you just put out there into the atmosphere. It's a lot of money. You have to look at it that way. But the reason why they have it set up like that is because they entice you with that figure. And this is an interesting challenge. This is you wouldn't believe me if I said it. Well, your heart hurts because of something physical, not because of something emotional. You have emotion in your brain, Richard James, and that corresponds to your heart. If you see something you like, your heart rate speeds up because of your brain. Your brain is taken in through your senses. You see something, you hear something, you smell something delicious, you taste something delicious, your heart rate increases. If you're on drugs, you have a drug, your heart rate will either decrease or increase depending on whatever your drug is. That's physical. But it starts with your brain. That's the emotion that you experience. But I say too much on that. I could, Richard James, I would be the spokesperson if they would allow me. But I don't think so because I got my account canceled at one time. But I had to rebuild it and it's back online. Everything's fine now. I get paid still. That's all I was looking for. If they're going to still pay me, then I'm going to promote them. But if not, can't do much for you. That's the truth. That's the facts. That's the reality. Nobody wants to talk about that though. Nobody's talking about how, we have to make, no. It is what everybody is talking about. Oh, the poor. The poor. What about the poor? What about the poor? What about the poor? What about the poor? The poor need to get on the internet. They need to get off of the street corners and start their own business. But you know why they can't do that? Controls and regulations. Controls and regulations are what impedes most people from even starting a business. And then to make things worse, there's taxes. But taxes should only be levied against those who sign contracts and buy certain goods and services. That's it. That's the whole idea of taxes. There should be no controls or regulations, period. None. People say about, what about safety at work? Oh, there's OSHA. Oh, if there wasn't for OSHA, there wouldn't be any safety. Yeah, like when they made the elevator, the creator, Otis, he made the elevator so that people would die. That was his invention. That was his whole purpose. So people would die in elevator accidents. That was the goal. So elevators would drop and commit crimes and murder people. That was the whole idea. If you're in this live chat, put a 1 up besides Richard James. Richard James, you can leave your 1 down. 2 other people are in here. Let me know who you are so I can shake your jeans and pour out your money upside down. No, but that's it. Regulations and controls, you don't need them. Years before there wasn't OSHA, there were multiple companies and corporations that were instilling safety practices to ensure that not only the consumer but the workers were not being harmed. Because that makes sense, right? If you want to have a business, you need people that are going to manufacture and create for you. So you're going to want to make the best environment for them so they don't get hurt. Duh. So you make it safety conscious. You make it able to be safe for them to work. That's the part that people don't understand. Same thing with FDA. FDA is the worst thing in the world for dying agency. That's FDA. When people says, "Oh, FDA approved," oh, that means it's safe, it's good. No. That just means that a whole list of bureaucrats spent years while people were dying to evaluate whether a drug was permissible, quote unquote, to the public. That's all they did. So when you have people like, President Biden, terrible president, he's definitely on the side of the Affordable Care Act and FDA and all that nonsense. The DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, that's vicious. People want to get high, let them get high. As long as they're not hurting anyone else and just hurting themselves, so be it. But there should be rehab and recovery centers that prevent people from doing drugs. But if people are going to do them, let them do them in their basement. Let them do it, just let them do it. That's all we have to do. We don't have to be treated like children. That's how the government sees us. They sees able-bodied working American adults as children. Children. I keep saying children's. What is this, Tyler Perry? Children's. Biden's not better than Trump in certain circumstances. He's worse. In other circumstances, he's better. In the economy and the way he left the war, he was worse than Trump. Trump Possibly, we'll never know. He would maybe did a better job exiting Afghanistan than Biden did. We left like a man trying to get out of bed with a prostitute when his wife is coming up the stairs or something like that, or helping her. We left it like the prostitute trying to get out of the window, you know, very sloppy and haphazard and trying to get clothes on and everything. It was a mess. It was a big mess. Exactly. You should. You should be able to smoke that Pee Wee Pat as much as you want it. But hey, I had a great time. It's over the limit now. I'm not going to push it any further. Thank you very much, Richard James, especially for checking in. You're a staunch supporter. You're a day one. I appreciate you. Make sure you check out Spirit Smooth Tunes on your own time. Make sure you check out Designs by DZ at Gmail. Get in touch with him. I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks again for showing up. Take care.